recognitions in June, but we found that when we have it in June, our attendance is kind of low. So we did want to have an opportunity for our staff to be recognized with their family this evening. So we can begin. I'll wait for the. And while we were preparing the presentation for our Employee of the Year, every year, each of our classified and certificated employees are recognized by their peers at their school sites, and they nominate site employees of the year. Those employees then go on to participate in the district selection process. So we'll be presenting those employees tonight. Unfortunately, some of our employees could not be here with us this evening, but we would still like to recognize them. So beginning with our classified employees of the year.
Tamiko, do you want us to come up? Do you want us to come up or not?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is for those employees that are here this evening, we would like to ask that you come up and shake our board members' hands, and you will be presented with your recognition plaque. So this year, our 2023-2024 site employees of the year, we will begin. And our first employee is Ms. Berta Carrera of our district office, clerical assistant. Congratulations, Berta. Oh, Berta, happy birthday. Shout out to Berta. It's her birthday, everyone. And then employees, if you could just please stand for a moment. We would like to have a picture with everyone at the end. Thank you.
Edwin, can we get the PowerPoint back? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll see that. And I was just notified that our CSEA will be presenting our employees with additional recognition gifts this evening. So please stand by. Okay. Okay. And next we have. Next slide, please. Mr. Isael Dominguez, District Office, Facilities Development and Transportation, our HVAC technician. Isael could not be here with us this evening. From our Bassett Adult School, Mr. Elijah Repreza, Campus Security Officer. And from our Child Development Center, Ms. Veronica Magana, Clerical Assistant 2. From Don Julian School, Anna Mesa, Instructional Assistant. And from Edgewood Academy, Ms. Christy Arenas, Instructional Assistant of Special Education. And from Sunkist Elementary, Yadira Gonzalez, Instructional Assistant. Congratulations. Next, we have from Torch Middle School, Miss Anna Andrade, School Office Assistant. And finally, from Van Wig Elementary, Miss Elizabeth Barreto, Secretary 2. And if we could have all of our site employees of the year after you've collected your plaques, if you could please move to the center and we will have a photo with our board members. Again, one last round of applause for our site classified employees of the year. Congratulations and thank you for your service to our students. Okay, finally, this is where we recognize our district employee of the year for classified employees. And hopefully this individual is here this evening. I didn't see him. Oh, okay. Well, I'm honored to present our district employee of the year, who is not in attendance, but we will still recognize him. Oh, back. Very sensitive. Okay, there we go. All right. So unfortunately, Mr. Anthony Orozco Figueroa could not be here with us this evening, but if we can please give him a round of applause. Mr. Anthony Orozco has served for 5 years as our college and career advisor at Bassett High School. I can personally attest to the fact that he is very dedicated to our students. Mr. Orozco works very closely with our students and our counseling team to help prepare our students for all things college and career related, and he is very awesome at his job. Anthony currently serves also as the vice president for our Bassett CSEA Chapter 26. You may have seen him at some of our meetings advocating for our classified labor partners. And he was also nominated by the Los Angeles County Supervisor Hilda Solis's office to serve on the First District Digital Divide Council in 2022. Again, we would like to honor Mr. Anthony Orozco Figueroa as our classified district employee of the year. All righty. Next, we will be recognizing our site teachers of the year, beginning with Bassett High School, Miss Jamila Delatsai. And for Bassett Adult School, Miss Kathy Ruiz, adult education teacher. This name may look familiar to you. Ms. Ruiz was also a child development teacher who recently became a teacher in our adult school. And from our child development, Imelda Aparicio, early Head Start teacher. And from Don Julian School, Miss Maria Teresa Gomez, teacher, 7th grade. And from Edgewood Academy, Miss Christine Lanata, kindergarten teacher. And from Nueva Vista High School, Miss Rachel Flores. From Sunkist Elementary, Miss Vanessa Chavez, our TOSA interventionist. Okay, I see you with your Sunkist colors on. And finally, from Torch Middle School, Miss Luz Torres. And last, but definitely not least, this teacher was recognized as the Van Wyck Elementary Teacher of the Year, as well as the District Teacher of the Year. Please give a big round of applause for this year's District Teacher of the Year, Miss Maria Reyes. Ms. Reyes is in her 29th year of teaching with our Bassett Unified School District. She has taught for 29 years at Van Wyck Elementary, serving as a first grade teacher for 27 years and 2 years as a third grade teacher. Ms. Reyes was also nominated as Van Wyck's Teacher of the Year in 2007 and 2008. Congratulations, Ms. Reyes, for being selected as our District Teacher of the Year. Okay, if we could have all of our employees of the year come up with our board members here to have a picture, and then we will have our District Teacher of the Year photo as well. We can get cozy. Okay, good. All right. And then Ms. Reyes, if we could just have one photo opportunity with our District Teacher of the Year. Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna have one photo with our District Teacher of the Year, Ms. Reyes. Thank you, everyone. One round of applause for our Site Teachers of the Year. Okay, all right. Thank you. One round of applause, one final round of applause for all of our employees of the year. Okay, moving on. We would like to, this year, we did not have as many retirees this year, but we would like to recognize our 3 staff members that will be retiring at the end of this 2023-24 school year. Unfortunately, Dr. Kennard, our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, could not be here with us this evening, but we would like to honor and recognize Dr. Kennard. Dr. Kennard has served in our Educational Services Department for 9 years. She began her career here with Bassett Unified in 2015. During her tenure here with our district, she has served as the Coordinator of Educational Services and the Executive Director and Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. We will truly miss Dr. Kennard and all of her support to our community and students. So if we could please give Dr. Kennard a round of applause. And next, we are going to honor our classified retirees for 2023-24, beginning with Mr. Hector Chavez, of maintenance worker from our Facilities Development and Transportation Department. Is Hector here with us? No? Well, we would like to thank Mr. Chavez for his 34 years of service. I know that I will definitely miss seeing Hector on his little lawnmower riding throughout the district, or big lawnmower rather. And last but not least, Ms. Jean Gooch, our budget analyst. Ms. Gooch, we thank you for your 22 years of service to our Bassett Unified Community. Ms. Gooch has served as an accounting technician and budget analyst in our adult school program and our district office. Ms. Gooch has also have been very heavily involved in our classified CSEA as president for many, many years. For those of you who've known her, she's very actively involved. And Jean, from the bottom of my heart, I'm going to miss working with you. And I truly wish you a happy retirement. Ms. Gooch, everyone. And thank you, everyone, on behalf of our Board of Education, our superintendent. We would like to thank all of the family and community members who joined us this evening. And we do have refreshments over there that you all are welcome to. Thank you so much.
Everyone will be having a 5-minute recess so you can mingle, mix and mingle and have some refreshments. Maybe we'll. Too far to walk. together. Good. Okay. That was really nice. Good. I'm gonna have chocolate in my teeth, okay? In my finger, had all the whipped cream, all the frosting. Okay. So we have a presentation, Measure V Bond Audit Report. Is it presentation?
Yes. Not a PowerPoint, it's just a present time. Good. Yes, thank you, board president, members of the board. We have today Natalie from Christie White and Associates Audit Firm. It's the audit firm the district has contracted to do all our financial audits. So Natalie's here to present the 2023 Measure V bond audit. So remember, a couple months ago, we had a audit presentation that was specifically to the general fund. And this one's now specific to the bond or Measure V bond. Natalie?
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me. Similar to what Mr. Alvarez said, the audit ran basically the same way that the district audit ran, where we worked with the district personnel, the business personnel like Marisela and Marta, to compile a lot of the support. But this time it was specifically to the bond measure V, which is housed in Fund 21. So this year, we usually take a look at, or we did take a look at and tested internal controls regarding all of the Fund 21 monies. We took a look at purchasing and cash disbursements. We took a sample of a lot of expenditures. I'd say we tested about 40% of all expenditures and confirmed that they were all had the necessary approvals and they were all bond ballot approved purchases. We also tested the smaller amounts of cash, accounts receivable, accounts payable, revenues, and expenditures. Because it is mostly bond monies and Fund 21, we're taking a look at a lot of these items are like interest, AR and revenue that is coming in. And we confirmed the Fund 21 total cash and counting confirmations with the county to confirm those Fund 21 amounts as well. And then take a look at a lot of the debt statements and work with the business department again to get a lot of that support. So once all that was said and done, we took a look at, like I mentioned, 40% of all expenditures this year. We confirmed that if any projects went to bid, that they have all of the appropriate bid support, any change orders that were done. We also ask and make sure that they have all the required supporting documentation for that. But I believe there weren't any change orders or bids this year. But once all was said and done, we did do an unmodified financial statement opinion, which is the best opinion that you can receive. There were no financial statement findings and the performance audit had no findings as well. We found that all expenditures were done with all the appropriate approvals and for appropriate reasons outlined by the ballot language, like I mentioned earlier. That's essentially all I had as far as our process and what we found and our overall opinion. Did you guys have any questions for me regarding anything? It was a pretty clean audit, so.
Board president, question? Any questions?
Board members, do you have any questions? No.
No.
All righty.
Thank you
well,
very much.
yeah, thank you guys. And thanks again to Marisela and Marta for all the support and bearing with us with all of our samples. It was a pleasure being here. Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we'll have the presentation of the audit findings action plan.
Thank you, Board President. If I can ask Ms. Barba, our Chief Business Officer, to please come up. At the board's direction, a couple board meetings ago, the board requested a presentation for this board meeting specific to the action plan the district will be following to correct two specific findings that have happened 2 years in a row, specific to our general fund budget. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Barba.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President, board members, Superintendent, and public in general. So we're gonna give you a review of the action plan that we are in some areas already executing and some others have planned to be happening in the very near future. But we wanted to give you an overview of certain things. So the agenda will include internal controls definitions, internal controls list, types of internal controls, audit corrective action plan, and audit finding areas and correction action. So first, I think it's important that we understand, what are internal controls? Internal controls are mechanisms, rules, and procedures that a school district uses to ensure the integrity of financial and accounting information, promote accountability, prevent fraud, improve operational efficiency, comply with laws and regulations, such as GAAP stands for General Accounting Accepted Practices. GASB is General Accounting Standards Board and Education Code. So there is a list of internal controls, including establishment of responsibility, meaning who is responsible to implementing the internal controls. And then within that, then we have the segregation of duties. It's an act that we assign responsibilities to key employees to prevent from preventing fraud, to ensure that there is a transparency and full accountability of the district's funds. We have documentation of procedures, policies, and regulations as guidance for all of us on knowing what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. Physical controls is the actual controls that are implemented. Independent internal verification, internal audits. Internal audits are the audits that we do within the district, meaning the same personnel, the district personnel provides, executes internal audits to ensure that our financial transactions and the revenues, expenditures are accounted for properly according to law. And then we have the human resources controls. There are three types of internal controls. Number one is the preventive controls. These are the practices and policies designed to stop problems before they occur. The detective controls is the procedures that identify already existing problems. And that's what we were talking about, how we identify existing problems is by executing audits, whether it's internal audit or the external audits. And then we have the corrective controls, the practices and actions to fix and correct errors occur and identify through an audit review. So here we have, this slide is the first slide to describe the action plan that we are working with to ensure that these audit findings are corrected and to be prevented in the future. So we have the audit corrective action plan, meaning which outlines the necessary steps to address and correct audit findings. Then we had the finding 2023-001, financial reporting. So what are we working on right now? We're working on the updating and implementing policies and procedures. And how do we do this? We develop and document clear and detailed steps for key processes and activities, including the key contact personnel, job title, and the role and responsibilities. We are making sure that we identify all the areas that we need to implement and the procedures, including accounts receivable, accounts payable, budget, accounting, transportation, the fixed assets. It's all these areas that the business works with involving financial transactions. Then we also working on making sure that we include the automatic financial systems in our procedures, because as you know, we transitioned 2 years ago from PeopleSoft to BEST. So when we build our procedures, we need to include these new systems and to show in the procedures how we operate with these new financial systems. We have also the HR system, which we've been working with this system for many, many years, but we've been advised by LACO that the new human capital system will be implemented this coming January or February 2025. So we have a few months in which we're going to transition from the HRS to the human capital system. So it's another challenge that we will have, and that we're preparing for it. Finally, we have the PC products, and those are the systems that help us to generate financial reports of all the payroll that we process in the district. Now, along with policies and procedures, we have training and awareness. Training not only for the business team, but training for everyone in the district. Once we have the policy procedures in place, then we work with everybody. And again, this is an ongoing process. We are already working with the district in many areas. And as we're making progress, we keep working with all the district staff in all the areas needed. So the training awareness will provide is providing extensive and comprehensive training to key employees for the understanding of all policies and procedures. It's educating and ensuring that staff learns in all the nature of all federal, state, and local programs. To understand the information needed for funding amounts, the compliance, the rules and regulations of these programs, so that we can account for them properly, not only at year end, but all throughout the year. So this is a continuation of the finding 2023-001. So, the other area that includes this finding was related to accounts receivable and cash management. So in addition to updating process and procedures, the district is reviewing the cash activity received monthly and conducting a reconciliation in the general ledger. So what we're saying is that we are conducting internal audits in all our accounts receivable to make sure that all this revenue that has come in checks and cash has been deposited in the right accounts. In addition, we are reviewing all the money that has come through LACO, so that we reconcile all this money against the programs that we've been receiving this money for, to make sure that everything is being accounted under the proper program and resource. So the revenue management is supported with data analysis and identified trends, patterns, and accuracy, training staff on the understanding of management cash and the process that needs to be followed. Again, as I mentioned, a year end and all throughout the year. So what we do, we utilize the automated financial systems and the Microsoft Excel to develop and maintain accurate revenue balances. Effective and continuous monitoring of these activities by the business management is taking place to ensure that we are making progress, that we're identifying, that we're working, that we're making sure that all the funds, again, revenues and expenditures are posted in the proper programs. The ASB cash and fund balance is also part of this audit finding 2023-001. So what they're saying is that there was the cash balance that is presented in the district's general ledger is not matching with the site's balances. And so what we're doing is we have an amount that is posted. And so for us to know exactly the right amount, that we're working with all the sites, ASB programs, and to see what are their accounts balances. We're adding everything up to make sure that the cash balance in the district's books matches with their balances. And if they're not, then we're making the adjustments to present an accurate cash balance. And then we have the payroll sub accounts. So payroll sub accounts, what it entails is reconciliation of the benefits, meaning the payments that are done to the vendors, the deductions that are done to the employees, and the recordings in the books. So all that needs to be reconciled and matching what I'm receiving, meaning what we post in the general ledger from the employees' deductions, that should be the money that we pay out to the vendors as the contribution. So that's what we're also working on, ensuring that monthly the reconciliations are done for all these accounts. And these are accounts that are in the balance sheet. Then we have the fixed assets, and that's what we were talking with the auditor a few minutes ago, because the district found the last report that was submitted to the auditors like 3 years ago. So we have shared with the auditors to make sure that that spreadsheet has the data that is needed for us to continue, including this last year's up to date. So once they approve it, then we can update it with all the data of all these previous years. Just an overview of what is fixed assets. I'm not sure that we all know what it entails. So fixed assets is also called capital assets. So this is the biggest investment of a district, of a school district. And they include land, buildings, building improvements, equipment, vehicles, anything that the useful life is over a year. And items like construction, land purchasing, when you buy like a bus or all the vehicles that the district has. So all these is included in these fixed assets. Now we need to account for all the expenditures in the year. And in addition, we need to do the depreciation and the accumulated depreciation for each item to identify when the useful life has expired. So it's a process that needs to be done, But again, we're working very closely with the auditors because this needs to get done by year end so that it can be reviewed by them again. So we're working on it. This is the other finding, 2023-002. This one is about procurement and accounts payable. So because the district, the way the purchasing works in this district is called the centralized procurement system, meaning the buyer does not really do all the purchasing. So everybody, all the sites and departments they do their own purchasing for the most part. So they contact the vendors, they get the quotes, once the quote gets approved, then they do go ahead and do their purchasing. They do their PO, and so they do all the arrangement. What we do in the fiscal department, the business department, is to make sure that they provide all the documentation and then process the purchase order. In some instances, because there's too many people doing purchasing, in some instances, it is forgotten that the PO needs to be prepared before we do the actual purchasing or receiving the goods. And so what happens, the invoice would have an earlier date than the purchase order. That triggers the audit finding. So how we can work with everybody by extensive communication with everybody. And that's what we've been doing. We have worked with all management and office staff, office secretaries, and ensuring that the purchases, whenever they're going to be doing some purchases, make sure that they prepare the PO first so that the invoice doesn't come before the purchase order. We have done this communication and verbally and in writing. We do that in the management meetings. We do that in the secretaries meetings. We send emails, and so we have seen progress. We don't stop communicating. We don't stop reminding everyone, reminding ourselves too. And we're reviewing the payments. When we get the payments, we review and make sure and look at all the backup supporting documentation, make sure that it's accurate, look at the dates, look at the amounts, look at the purchase orders. So we look at everything carefully. We've been very dedicated and working very hard on improving this, where we have this as one of our greatest priorities to ensure that the accountability of funds gets fully transparent, and so that we eliminate these fundings and that these fundings don't happen anymore. Any questions?
Does the board have any questions? Board Member Rivera?
Are we gonna be hiring a buyer? Because we haven't had one for a while, right?
You're actually approving it tonight. It's not called buyer anymore. The title changed. It's called procurement specialist. So
Oh.
it gets approved tonight and starts on Thursday. And we're
Oh.
very excited about that because the fiscal department has been short-staffed for over a year. And that brings us, kind of handicapped a little bit, but now that we're filling the positions and getting highly qualified employees, we're feeling better and better and getting stronger. So, yeah.
The new title threw me off.
Huh?
The new title threw me off.
Oh,
Not
sorry.
buyer.
Yeah, procurement specialist.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody
Thank
else?
you.
Board Member Simental?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you to the CBOs for a really thoroughly impressive presentation. Is it? Should be.
Yeah.
Where- You hear me right? All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. There we go. Now I hear myself. Thank you for Mr. Veta for that question on buyer, the procurement specialist, and thank you to our PC staff for imagining the difficult recruitment. It's been vacant for so long. So I'm happy to see that your team is full, because currently being on a team, a payroll team that is missing someone, it's horrible. I do have a couple questions. Going to slide number 8. It's relative to the ASB cash and fund balance. It looks like your office will be working very closely with the site ASBs. I'm wondering, is there also any training happening with the site ASBs to make sure that they're also assisting? I would hate to see where your office is, I guess, doing too much work in the sense of it's time to see like where is the balance of they're also helping, they're also making sure that they're doing the due diligence to reconcile everything. So what does that look like on the site side?
The ASB training will happen also, and that's been discussed with the district. It has been mentioned that there is a need for training for all the sites that have implemented the ASB program, and also our staff, we internally, so that we all are on the same boat, knowing exactly what are the policy procedures for ASB, how to maintain the cash, how to account and report all the fundraising events, what documentation is needed for the ASB, the compliance, how to prepare for an audit. And actually, the audit is coming on the 20th. So we are working, we're visiting the sites to go over a lot of things, again, it's a lot of items that we're trying to work, and we want to take it over everything, but we need to set it up as priorities, what we need to do first and second, but that's one of our items.
Thank you
Yes.
for that. I also want to commend you on the sub payroll or the payroll sub accounts. Doing monthly reconciliations is very commendable. So I just want to say shout out to your team for that.
Thank you.
On the next slide for page 9 under the fixed assets, I'm curious for 2 aspects, and one of them maybe Dr. Alvarez might be able to answer, but with this specific component of, I guess, correcting this discrepancy in the audit, why didn't we not see anything similar with the bond audit we just saw? If this is on fixed assets and the bond is about fixed asset, why wasn't it also included in the bond side of things?
The bond is only part of the fixed assets. So the fixed assets account for all the district. It's all the investments, and Measure V, it's covering a portion only, and then the fixed assets, it includes many years of data. So these are investments that need to be accounted for and that need to be included in the district's financial statements at year end. So all this data includes the assets acquired for current year, the deductions that the addition of the depreciation, the addition of the accumulated depreciation, the deductions of any assets that are no longer needed, because let's say that you have we have 5 buses and they record, but then we sell one because we don't need it anymore. Then we need to take it out of that report and we adjust all the data that is presented in the financial statements. But
If I can just elaborate. I believe it. So even though if it's, let's say we built a brand new school with bond funds. The bond audit would be reflective of how was the money spent? Did we follow procedures, policies, did it get spent the way it was intended to be spent by the voters on the ballot? But as far as the tracking of the asset inventory itself, it would be under the general fund, fixed assets, where it has everything.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
explaining that.
yeah,
And we got this audit only in February, only 2 months ago. I'm curious, in terms of how, what's the new, I guess, like retention system of with all the documents, the historical data that, we were able to find? What does that look like moving forward to make sure that next year's audit, we don't have a similar finding of not being able to find historical data?
But that's why we're working very hard on everything, because we only have a few months to get all this, but we've been working for all these months. We know, we know how to do the corrections. We know what it takes. We know what we need to do. And among our daily responsibilities and activities, and we're working also on these items. Yeah, so we're doing the best we can right now to make sure that we don't get this. And, but more importantly, what's more important to us is to ensure that we account for all the district's assets properly, that they are accounted for, recorded into the right programs. That all revenue and expenditures are recorded properly and following the law. So that's our biggest priority right now. But yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you,
yeah,
Madam
sure.
President.
Okay, thank you so much. Board Member Cimental, you bring up a very good point with the ASB. That was one of my hits too.
Okay.
So, I think having I'm very supportive of our ASBs on campus, and they do a lot of work, and it's great learning opportunity, especially in the financial literacy, teaching them. So there are great learning opportunities there. Question, is there a guideline or a process, a written guideline or process that is given to the leaders of ASB that they can go over? And I do know that probably in our K-8s, it probably gone over with a staff member or whoever's the ASB lead there. But there is a written guideline and procedure. So in the event that you have discrepancies between the district's balance and the site's balance, what prevails? What are you balancing to?
Well, okay, so the balance, the balances that the sites have, that would be the accurate ones. Then we need to make adjustment at the district level.
Okay,
Because
So-
then we need to see if we're overstating or understating the cash balance that all sites have. You know
So-
what I'm saying? Yeah.
okay, great. Thank you so much. So that brings me to my next question. So does each site have their own bank account, or is it one account and all the sites deposit to that account? So, Yeah. Hi, Miss Martha.
Hi. So they each have their own accounts. I have been doing the reconciliation of some of those accounts along with my accounts receivable person. We did find out that some of these accounts, because of the way they were set up, the new principles that are now in place cannot get a hold of bank statements and stuff like that. So I'm working with Bank of America. It's very difficult because I can't just walk into the branch and request information
No, you
because
can't.
I'm not part of how they set up those accounts. So I'm working very diligently with Bank of America's representatives online. And we're trying to get all of that sorted out to make sure that each principal has or is able to get access to their accounts. They're able to deposit, but they're not able to get the bank statements to make sure that we're reconciling correctly each balances. For the major, I want to say that for the major part, the biggest ASB that I'm closely working with is Monica, the high school. They're the ones that have the biggest pot. So I'm working very close with her, and I think she's the only one that has the software, because I believe that all the other sites actually do it manually. So they don't have the software like Monica does. So that kind of creates a little challenge there, because then we have to manually take account of everything that's happening. But like I said, we are working closely with Bank of America to get it all sorted out and make sure that we do have balances.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, my understanding is, So there has to be a district representative that should be on all ASB accounts. And that would just mean that a new signature card needs to get done. So I'm sorry you're having so much trouble with the online, but
So all of that was done when I'm sorry, when I first got here to the district. So all of that had to be done all over again because they were saying that they didn't have all that information. So as I'm digging through each school, we're finding out that some of these ASB accounts were set up by, let's say, Bassett Unified, but then they put the principal's name on it. So then that principal that's no longer here, if he was here 10 years ago, he's no longer here. So because of that, that creates a challenge because they didn't set up the account correctly. So the account should have been set up in a way where only Bassett Unified School District representatives can have access to that account. So that will be when you turn in those cards, those signature cards that say, these are the people I want authorized and removed. And that way, then that's how we are able to just walk in and take
okay,
and have that information.
okay, yeah, so, cool. The reason I'm saying that, I'm glad that I was PTA, let me tell you. So I know the feeling. But yes, so like on all our accounts, perhaps you need to have the superintendent as a signer as well, and you can have your principals on there. But somebody needs to be the constant so that when somebody leaves, there's still somebody in there.
Yes.
But okay, but that answers my question.
I'd like to add that, but because you asked if we have a manual, ASB manual, yet there is the FICMAT has an ASB manual with all the direction how to manage the ASB programs. And we have shared that manual with everyone in the district. It tells you in detail, what is an organized ASB program, what is an disorganized, unorganized, what's the difference, who needs to make the decisions, how they work all together. They have forms, they have everything. That manual is really, really, really good.
I understand. Thank you so much. And we can have those and we do have those, but just making sure that we take those and process them out and follow up with them. The next one under the payroll, I'm assuming that you use BEST for the payroll?
Yes.
Okay, and that's a.
Well, the payroll, we use the HRS to process the payroll, then the payroll data then downloads into the BEST system.
Okay,
And then the BEST system has different sections. It has one that is called Info Advantage, and it has all the reports. It's like something similar to PeopleSoft. We had PeopleSoft, the financial system, and then we had RAD. This system module had all the reports. So with BEST is HRS currently, and as I mentioned, we're going to transition to the HCM, the Human Capital Management System, early next year. So it's
yeah, you mentioned that January
yeah,
25.
say like January, February 2025. Yes. So we're working on the preparation and for this transition.
Okay, and to kind of piggyback on Board Member Shimenthal comment with regards to the fixed assets, what is the threshold for equipment?
For equipment, it's 5,000 per single item. Yes, so that's for capitalized capital equipment. For non-capital, in that non-capital is not included in this reporting, it's 500, from 500 to 5,000 per single item. And then this capitalized is 5,000.
And do we use a system software for tracking this inventory?
Well, we gathered all the data from the BEST system, from the general ledger. We consult it takes, we don't have a software to, except Excel. In Excel, we have this data that we have compiled, that we gather from the financial system, because it's all the purchase, all the payments that we pay. Like Dr. Alvarez mentioned, the projects that we have. You wanted to say?
I was just gonna say, though, historically, the district hasn't used any specific program. All the fixed assets that they're being referred to are kept on an Excel sheet and updated annually and provided to the auditors. And one of the things that, when this finding came out is I went ahead and did a email search, historical baller emails, and finally came up with the last known Excel sheet with all the fixed assets, and that's what we've provided. But one of the things Ms. Barba had mentioned is that LACO does have a module within their BEST program to handle fixed assets. And once the the auditors approve or say, okay, what you've provided us and included all the data for the last 3 years of the fixed assets, once they say that that's good for auditing purposes, then we're gonna take that information and load it into the county's BEST system for
Mhm.
tracking our assets.
And this system is brand new from LACO that they incorporated with the best system, so it's fairly new also. And yeah, we look forward to using it for our fixed assets tracking.
Okay, so I think, let me see, do we have a system to track? Do you do physical inventory? I know you
Yeah, we-
mentioned, you both mentioned that you're digging through files and things to find items. Do you double check with a physical inventory?
Physical,
By doing a physical go-to inventory?
meaning
actually
about the
go-
fixed assets?
Yes.
Well,
Well,
it-
not so much, if there's some things, your buildings, building improvements and all that, that's kind of obvious. Vehicles, that's kind of obvious. But like more so the equipment.
Well, yeah,
Because
we
equipments
get,
are
we
the
get
items that-
updated. Yeah, we,
Yeah.
because, okay, so depends on where the equipment is, what the equipment we're talking about, then we make sure that that equipment is still existing and that that equipment is still functioning so that
The
we can
physical
account it for it. Yes, definitely. We're doing more importantly, the vehicles. I get an updated list of all the vehicles on a yearly basis so that we can make sure that we have them all. And yeah, and also the equipment, kitchen equipment, all kinds of equipment.
Thank you so much. This is
Very
very
welcome.
helpful and I'm glad and hoping our next audit is better.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask the board to go back to the Measure V bond audit. Can I get a motion to accept the Measure V bond audit as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Board Member Rivera. Can I get a second? Seconded by Board Member Barajas. Roll call?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, we're moving on to public comments. So I have no comments related to closed session. So I'm not gonna read that part.
Yeah.
But we do have to, comments for open session. So, the Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to conduct district business in an orderly manner for the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond more directly. The board policy requires that public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers may only address items that are within the subject jurisdiction matter of the board. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the board from the podium, and adhere to the applicable limit of 3 minutes. The total allotted time for public input on either agenda or non-agenda items is 20 minutes. If there are several speakers on a specific topic, at the president's request, the board may reduce the amount of time individuals may speak, requesting that comments be limited to the points already addressed. Speakers may not reserve or grant any portion of their speaking time to other person. Speakers are requested to maintain order, decorum, and not disrupt the meeting or use profanity when addressing the board. Complaints should follow the district's complaint procedures before discussion with the board. Okay, haven't read that in a while, so. Okay. Pursuant to Senate Bill 1100, the board president may remove disruptive individuals from a board meeting so long as the individual is first warned by the presiding board member that their behavior is disrupting the meeting, and failure to cease such behavior may result in removal. If the behavior does not promptly cease, the individual may be removed. So at this time, I would like to call Eric Vasquez.
Thank you so much. Good evening, school board president, vice president, members of the board, superintendent, staff, and community members. My name is Eric Vasquez, and I'm here on behalf of Justice for Youth, a nonprofit community-based organization whose mission is to mentor at-promise communities to develop as scholars, as people, and as leaders. We are currently in partnership with the county, and I'm here on behalf of Supervisor Solis and her office. We are one of the many CBOs that she has supported in order to provide a more robust care to the greater Puente Valley. We've been resourced by the supervisor to bring support to at-promise youth, transitional aged youth, and the broader community at large. We've been specifically tasked to host community building events in the Puente Valley area, providing interventions to at-promise youth, providing street outreach, formerly known as gang intervention. We like the term street outreach better, and other important community-based efforts. Our organization has years of experience working with many school districts in collaboration, supporting their initiatives, their parents, families, and student bodies. We've recently met with the administration over at Nueva Vista, and so it was just a meet and greet. And we were providing Mrs. Corral, who we're very impressed with, her and her team over there, with information about our organization, the supervisor's initiatives, and just being able to answer any questions related to the request for collaboration, because we're wanting to explore some opportunities to support this community in a greater way. We believe that we can bring a lot of value to this community. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come and be present here at your school board meeting. You'll hear in just a moment from a colleague of mine, a mentee who's been in my life for some time. It's her first time speaking at a school board meeting, and so she's a little nervous, but I think you'll be impressed as she's one of those of lived experience who has healed, been on an amazing journey, and is giving back to the communities that we serve. Thank you so much. I'll be around later. I'd love to exchange information to you, get to know you and your initiatives in this community. I can tell you guys have a lot of care in this community, and I'm very impressed with your staff and the little bit that I've heard today, the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for allowing us to be here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ashley Cortez.
Good evening, school board president, vice president, members of the school board, and members of the community. My name is Ashley Cortez. I'm the Connect Program Supervisor for Just Us for Youth. I'm here representing my org, but also I stand here as a product of my program. I myself am of lived experience and have had the opportunity to heal through mentoring and have reaped the benefits of our program, our programs. We are excited to serve the Puente Valley, particularly in the Bassett Unified Area community. The Connect program that I have had the privilege of leading provides mentoring through mentor matching, clusters, mentoring, and more. And what that looks like is we have different activities that our youth are able to engage with mentors like myself. So I myself I'm an artist, and I can engage with our youth one-on-one. So we'll meet once a week through just similar activities that we're both interested in, and we'll be able to build a meaningful connection that way. I'm pleased to be here and hope to connect with more leaders in this community and share more about the support and interventions that we can provide youth and young people in Bassett Unified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashley. That concludes our comments, public comments, I'm sorry. Okay, so moving along, we will move to superintendent comments.
Thank you, Board President. I first want to begin with congratulating all our classified and certificated employees of the year, our retirees. I know that if we were able, if we could give it to all our employees, we would, but unfortunately there is a process. And that is why we recognize those that were selected, but also want to recognize all our employees and the hard work they put in and day out for the students in the community of Bassett. Second of all, want to inform the board that I've been keeping an eye on the fitness center. It's pretty much done on this weekend. They're delivering all the equipment. So we're planning on having a ribbon cutting ceremony sometime towards the end of next week or early the week of the following. So Alexander will be reaching out to all of you about some times where you're available so we can have a ribbon cutting ceremony for the fitness center. Today I had the opportunity to drive around with the assistant principal, Mr. Torres from Bassett High School. We began putting signs on seniors' lawns, promoting, a senior is from class of 2024 lives here at Bassett High School. So it was great to meet some of the parents and students as well, take some pictures. And the staff will continue with that for the next couple of days as we put out our signs for our seniors. Also, I want to just thank everybody. I know that we're in April, there's only about a few weeks left, maybe 5-6 weeks of school year left as we get to the end. I do just want to thank everyone, the parents, obviously, once again, the staff, the students, everyone for a great year as we've been moving forward. We've had a lot of accomplishments, a lot of things we still need to work on and improve, but we'll continue with moving forward and ahead and working together to continue to improve Bassett Unified School District and the community and the students we serve. And finally, I did have an opportunity to attend the NSBA National School Board Association Conference with Ms. Stanzioni. There is a lot of great workshops, a lot of great things happening throughout the US. And so I'm sure she'll be talking about some of the things she saw. A lot of lawsuits out there that are hitting school districts, specifically around special education. And then there's the ones that school districts are going after big companies. We just had one regarding Juul. There's a big one coming up or going on right now regarding social media companies. And so there's just a lot going on in education and how it impacts not only our employees, but also our students and our community. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone and have a good evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Alvarez. Board Member Barajas?
Yes, thank you. To our Jewish community, and community members who celebrate Passover, I do hope y'all are having a reflective Passover with your families and friends. I want to send a shout out to Ms. Reyes as a Teacher of the Year. I got to visit her classroom just the other day with our President Flores. In her room was phenomenal. You were able to see the amazing work that the kiddos are doing in her classroom. So I'm sure that all of our teachers are doing great job as her, but I see why it's a well-deserved Teacher of the Year award. I do want to congratulate all of our teachers as well for their individual sites who were able to get the Teacher of the Year award. Phenomenal. Congratulations. I want to congratulate also our classified employees, especially Mr. Figueroa Orozco. We could see his passion for our kiddos. We really can. And we could also see the passion that he has when it comes to fighting what he believes is right, specifically for employees of our district as well. So that's something, of course, that's very commendable. The rest of the employees, classified employees as well, congratulations. Phenomenal job. Thank you for everything y'all do. To our retirees, again, also congratulations. Ms. Goosh, I mean, I've worked with her for many, many years. The fact that she's retiring now, it's awesome. A little jealous. She gets to spend time with her grandkids now, so it's phenomenal. It's just great to see us celebrating our folks here in Bassett and seeing their smiles in their face. I also want to point out a few of our resolutions. We have a lot of pretty good resolutions on our agenda today. School Principal Day. We have a Principal Appreciation Day in a couple of days. Our principals do a lot for our schools. I always like to call them the backbones of districts because they're the ones that are in the middle between teachers and management up top. So they're the ones that have to kind of try to balance it all to an extent. We do have Day of the Teacher resolution, our National Nurse Day resolution, administrative, professional personnel, mental health, classified employees. We do have our Autism Acceptance Month a little late because we're in it right now, but good to see that it's on there as well. For Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and Military Appreciation Month. So it's phenomenal to see all the great stuff that is happening. Appreciation that we have for everybody that, of course, working very hard to make sure that we're providing our kiddos the best resources we possibly can. So yeah, thank you to everyone. The end of the school year is at hand. Hope everybody has a good one. Finish strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Barajas. Board Member Rivera?
Hi, yes, hi. I'd also like to congratulate all our awardees, the teachers. It's long overdue for the Teacher of the Year, Ms. Reyes. I've worked with her and I've seen her in action and they're great. The child development teacher, what could I say? She's the one that starts the kiddos going, the children going and starts them with the basics and then the rest of the teachers pick it up from there. I also like to congratulate without our classified, we have dirty schools and nothing will be done or no help with the aides and all that. So I'd like to congratulate them also for the employees. I know we have a lot of great employees in teachers and in classified that deserve that award. And unfortunately, we could only give it to one from each side, but there's a lot of them that we should all be thanking when we see and say hi and thank them for all the work that they do because our schools are being kept clean. Curb appeal is great. So we're really doing great. Thanks to Dave and his crew and our teachers aide that help our students and it's just great. I also like to let you know that I attended a NARCON training here at St. Louis de France. And it was open for everybody that wanted to go last Wednesday. It was free of charge. You got your free little NARCON. They train you how to use it and all that. So they're going to do another one in May, and this one's going to be in Spanish. And it's going to be open to parents because sometimes our children get into these things that they shouldn't and accidentally take an opiate or something that they think it's candy or whatever. And it's always good to be prepared. And they give you the NARCON, so you carry it with you. They give you the training. You get your little card certificate that you've been trained. It's very easy to train and to do. And I hope that we could open it up and get put it up on when it does come out on the date, put it up on the marquee and make sure that our Spanish speaking parents are aware that it is free of charge for them. Child development, especially, we could send this, it's usually done like from 2 to 3:30. They give you lunch. So that's why it's at 3:30. It's the lunch, but it's like an hour training. It's not hard and it's really easy and great to do and be prepared. The teachers, the parents, everybody, it's open to anybody. This morning I attended the Family Leadership Institute that we are going on doing with our parents. And we had a good 25 parents that I saw there. And they've invited other parents to attend because we have more room. And the stories that the parents were opening up to and where they were coming from was really heartwarming and very hard to see. And we all realize that even though we come maybe from different states of Mexico or different states and countries in Latin America, we all have the same feeling for our kids and we all want the best for them. We may not know how to connect to the schools, but they're willing. They're willing and they would like to try. So we had a lot of great parents. The lunch was delicious. And it'll be going on till Thursday as a graduation. So if anybody would like to attend, it's at 1 o'clock, their graduation. And it's being held at the cafeteria in the adult school. So if anybody is open to go, let the parents know that it's free of charge. It's also a great place. They'll get their certificate, great place to get started. That's how I got started when I was a parent here with PTA, with all these trainings and you just keep on going. So to advocate for our children, we need it. And have a good night. Everybody, thank you for coming. And again, congratulations to all our winners, awardees, and retirees. Jean Gouche, oh my God, we're gonna miss her. She was a part of the district for such a long time. So I wish her well. She'll be a great grandma now that she'll be retired. So, but thank you all for coming. Good night.
Well, thank you, Board Member Rivera. Board Member Cimental?
Thank you, Madam President. Also just want to echo, my colleagues with, congratulating our honorees tonight. Teacher of the Year, Classified Employees of the Year. Just great to see everyone, people who I've seen recently, people who haven't seen since I was in fourth grade. It's really nice to see, everyone being recognized. Again, I'm sure we could congratulate all of our team members, but, for those who get the honor distinction for it this evening, I'm really happy that we were able to share this moment with your families tonight. Congratulations to Jean Gooch on her retirement. When I didn't realize she was standing right in front of me and then I saw her name, I was shocking. Terribly sad to see her go, but also very happy and congratulatory for her to enjoy her time. We'll always appreciate her and kind of hate her for getting me involved with the Personnel Commission all those times ago and eventually getting me here. Seeing Ms. Chavez, my old one of the teachers that I saw a lot when I was at Sunkist, to be recognized tonight was great to see. A good friend who is a great leader, Mr. Orozco Figueroa at Bassett High School, to get that commendation tonight is great. Everyone, so it's just nice to have that appreciation. I know Bassett, we really do take the time, it seems very lately, to celebrate our staff. So I'm happy we were able to do that this evening. I was very honored and grateful that my schedule allowed me last week to attend the reclassification ceremony here at Torch Middle School for all of our district students who were able to reclassify to fluent English speakers. So it was great to see all the kids from elementaries, middle, high school, to put the assists with the medals, handing out their certificates. One thing that I really appreciated was the opportunity for the students to pick out a textbook or a book. It was age appropriate, depending if it was elementary, you know, for something a little bit more fun, to going up to high school for a little bit more serious, a little more practical for them to becoming a young adult. So that was really great to just see the families out there as well. After that, I was able to visit Bassett High School for boys volleyball, track and field. Think Together was having a family festival. I saw the progress on the facility project we had going on with the girls' locker room and the pool. So it was just nice to connect the whole afternoon really with the district. Within the last month since our last board meeting, I was able to attend the 4th of 5 Masters in Governance trainings. So I'm really appreciative to continue my continuing education as a board member with that. That subject was human resources and collective bargaining, which I feel was a year too late. I feel like the beautiful experience that was last year gave me a deep dive into collective bargaining, but I'm still appreciative for the opportunity. With CSBA, I'm very happy to share that I recently was elected to the Delegate Assembly for the region. So I'm really happy to connect with our fellow delegates throughout the East LA County, San Gabriel Valley area on the state level with CSBA. That's most of me. It's April. We are seeing the finish line, I'm sure, with the end of the year. So I'm wishing everyone a great spring. We're into it. It's already gonna be summer. Wow, look at that. But enjoy the rest of your evenings. Thank you for coming in. Have a good night. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Board Member Simenthal. I would have to echo everything my colleagues said, so at this point, this is what happens when you're last. Okay, so, but I would like to give my congratulations to all the awardees tonight. It is, you know, this Saturday at work, I work at Cal State LA, we had preview day. So all the students that are coming into Cal State LA and they want to be teachers, I commend you, you know, or they want to get into education in some form or another. I commend you, I said, because we need so much of that, you know, this is our future, our students, they're our future. So I applaud them, but thank you to all our, actually to all our staff, you know, certificated and classified, because it takes a village and everybody plays a role in this. But a special thank you to our awardees as they have been awarded the awards. My shout out goes to Mr. Orozco, because what I do in my job is to help students become leaders, coaching and mentoring leaders. And the job that he has at the high school to make students aware that, hey, college it's there for you. It can be attained, and all the work that goes into preparing them to get over the fear of going to college. I mean, not all students have that fear. Some already know what they want to do. They want to go, and shout out to them, great. But some have that hesitation, like maybe I can't afford it. And the work that he puts into that is really, I find it very commendable. And those that choose not to go to college get a career path. Open doors, internships, things like that, searches for scholarships. That is all great. I love it. Congratulations to our retirees as they enter a new chapter in their lives where every day is going to be a Saturday. That is so great. And I'm jealous, Jean. She gets to be a permanent, full-time grandma. I don't know. I tell my people, like, I got 5 more years. But my children, my grandkids could be a threat, down that 5 years. So I'm very excited for all our projects going on and seeing that they're all coming to fruition. Our bond audit makes me breathe easier. The fitness center, getting pictures of that. We're hearing about that on a weekly basis. That's really great. The pool, the swimming pool. Hope we're still on target for this summer. So next year, we're gonna have a swim team, a water polo team. So this is really great. And other activities. Let's see how that opens up to community. Okay. The Marquise, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're slated next week. 2 schools will be slated for next week. You've already seen the wonderful one we have here at Torch, the one we have over at Sunkist. Let's see, Torch, Sunkist, Don Julian got there, so we're working on Van Wig and Edgewood. Okay, so did I forget one? Yeah. Okay, so that's really good. So excited about that. It's communication to, make parents aware of what's going on. The HVAC's going to get done, and we don't have to be in sweltering classrooms. Not all classrooms were hot, but still, I think if you create the right environment, students will do well. As my colleague mentioned, I have the opportunity to do a walkthrough of the campuses and visited classrooms, and it's amazing the wallpaper of projects that goes in there. And some of the students are kind of proud to share what they were doing. You walk around seeing what they're so proud to show their work. So I really congratulate our students. They take pride in their work, and congratulations to the teachers that put in that effort to help the students for all their hard work. And I was happy to see continued education training done at some of the campuses. They have their time where they step away, and they all kind of like they were building their own mission and vision. So that was really good. I really like that, because learning is an everyday process. Never stop learning. Even us as adults, we should continue to learn. Times are changing. We need to try and understand all the change that's happening around us. Earth Day. Yesterday was Earth Day. So love our planet, take care of our planet, and make sure that we're going to need it for a very long time. Okay. So PTA, some of you campuses that have PTA, I encourage parents to sign up for their PTA. PTAs currently, our PTA campuses are Edgewood, Sunkist, the high school, and Don Julian. Okay. And they have some really strong PTAs. I really encourage parents, sign up for your PTA. This is the avenue where you can have your voice heard. And we have some amazing leaders in our PTA group there. So please go ahead and sign up. As Dr. Alvarez mentioned, this academic year is coming down to a wind down. Okay, 5 weeks. And we're all going to get senioritis or 8th grade-itis or whatever you want to call it. Because we want summer, okay? But let's finish strong. We started strong. Let's finish strong. Okay, thank you, everybody, for attending today's meeting, be it virtual and in person. I really appreciate that. I wish you all a good night. Thank you. So we will move into closed session. Can I get a motion to move into closed session at 7:13? Motioned by Board Member Barajas,
Second.
second by Board Member Rivera, roll call.
Aye.
Aye. The board will move to closed session at 7:13 PM. Thank you. Okay, we are reconvening to open session at 8:05. May I have a report of action? I'm sorry, Board Member Rivera, may I have a report of action taken in closed session?
Yes, Madam President. In closed session on a motion by Mr. Barajas and a second by Ms. Flores, and a vote of 4 members approved, 0 members opposed, 0 members abstained, the governing board took action to approve settlement agreement with employee MW 3832-685 for a skip claim ACSJ 3801, ACSJ 1353, and BUSD 13013 for a total of 121,876 with 25 cents. As previously issued payment with future medical care open as outlined below. Thank you.
Okay, we have no written communications. Okay, so, approval of resolutions. We have 12 resolutions on, the agenda right now. As we've done in the past, I ask if the board, is in favor of approving the resolutions in a sweeping motion.
Board President, I would like to remove or pull one of the resolutions, number 11, resolution number 034-24.
Can I get a? Okay, so that's an amendment to my original. Okay, so then are there any others? No, okay. So can I get a motion to approve the resolutions as presented, removing resolution 034-24, which is item number 11?
So
Or
moved.
to be done as an individual vote.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion by Board Member Rivera, seconded by Board Member Barajas. Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, going back to resolution 034-24, affirming support for congressional and international calls for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. It is recommended that the Board of Education consider approval of resolution 034-24, affirming support for congressional and international calls for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
So we could either A, open it for discussion, or we could just move forward with a vote. I'm okay with either.
Let's open it for discussion.
Right, open it for discussion. So yes, I asked to pull it because you know, I do have a few questions, concerns with this resolution. I understand the international political affairs with it. But I do genuinely believe that this is something that is not necessarily pertaining to our district, the way we conduct business and so on. And you know, I mean, I could get into the politics of it, but respectfully, there was a ceasefire October 6th. It was violated October 7th. Israel, of course, took action on that, and where we're at right now. You know, there's a lot that I could share about this as well, coming from our own government, our CIA director sharing that Hamas practically kind of like the ones that are not really moving towards a ceasefire. And I mean, we just a couple of days ago, we did see Iran sending missiles towards Israel, which strongly supports Hamas. So I mean, at this point, I really think that it's respectfully, I know, I get it that we don't want to see the loss of lives, and I think everyone could respect that. But this is something that is probably much larger. We also saw over the weekend our Congress with overwhelming majority vote to continue supporting Israel, of course, and also providing support to the best that they can to the region for humanitarian purposes to help out as well. So I feel that this is a resolution that probably I mean, respectfully, should be taken to a group like Hamas, maybe Iran, because they're also continuing with that aggression. So I feel like it shouldn't probably be something that this governing body should be genuinely like taking too much consideration into, especially when we do have different things going on in our district that impacts the learning of our kiddos. So I just don't see how it affect the makeup of our district.
Thank you, Board Member Barajas. Any other board member?
Yes, Madam President.
Board Member Rivera?
I agree with Board Member Barajas. Also, I'd like to know who is recommending that the Board of Education consider approval. And second, this does not fall under our jurisdiction. We are a Board of Education. In no way will this help our students with the strategic plan. We said it will not help them with their education. It will not help them raise the scores or anything. So I don't think that this is at all any part of our jurisdiction. So,
Okay. Is there, okay, I support a ceasefire because too many lives have been lost. However, I also do have to see I do not see how this resolution reflects our own internal vision and mission for the district. And as my colleagues have shared, we are here to support the education, academic learning of our students. And how can we better prepare them for their continued academic learning? That is my comment on this. Oh, you want to, okay. Board Member Cimental?
Thank you, Madam President. To answer Ms. Rivera's question, I did go ahead and request this item's placement on the agenda. The recommendation is that we consider the resolution itself. I appreciate the feedback from my colleagues on this item. The concept behind it was seeing that multiple other local agencies, school districts and cities throughout the San Gabriel Valley and region adopting something similar. Seeing the lives lost is something horrible. I think many of us agree on, as we've all said here, which is the spirit behind bringing it forward. Understanding that we don't have any international influence as a small school district. The goal behind it is using our influence, what little we have, to our congressional representatives who would have the influence. So by no means do I purport to assert we have any type of role on the international stage as a small K-12 school district. More along following what our colleagues are doing in the SGB to bring attention to this matter. But I do understand where it seems majority is coming from regarding if this is within the strategic vision of the district. I don't think specifically it is. However, when you do see the number of lives lost, which is astronomically high in this horrible conflict that's been going on for decades, that's the only reason why it was brought forward. Simply, if we are able to join calls that have been going out throughout not only this SGB, but the state, the nation. That's the point of view, at least for myself as one individual board member. But again, I do understand that this is not something that is directly impacting a district. It is a matter of, I would say, discourse going on everywhere. That was, of course, that we are very mindful of. So that's at least my contribution to what's going on here. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Cimental. If no one has anything else to add, Can I get a motion to vote on resolution 3424? And please state your
I move to
Vote.
vote on resolution number 034-24.
and your vote is?
Nay.
No,
Can I get a second?
oh, a second.
I'm so sorry, I did that wrong. Get a motion to vote on this resolution. Motion by Board Member Barajas, seconded by Board Member Rivera. Can I get a roll call vote?
Nay.
No,
Aye.
Nay. Okay, moving along, we're going to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be items that will be enacted by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Board members, is there any item you would like removed from the consent calendar to be voted on separately?
Move to approve the consent calendar as it is.
I second.
Second, so, motion to approve the consent calendar as presented was motioned by Board Member Barajas, and it was seconded by Board Member Rivera. May I get a roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to adjournment. The next regular board meeting will be scheduled for May 21st, 2024. Can I get a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting of April 23rd?
I move.
Second.
Motion by Board Member Barajas, seconded by Board Member Rivera. Roll call?
Aye.
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 Aye. I adjourned the regular board meeting of April 23rd at 8:17 PM. Thank you, board members.